Match number 56, Kolkata Knight Riders versus the Mumbai Indians, finally coming to an end. It was a must win game for KKR and they did live up to the expectations. I welcome to today's show our panelists Devashi Sen, Nishant Arora, Joydeep Mukherjee, and Rima Malhotra. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in this post-match analysis show. Before we begin with the dissection, I need everybody's opinions. We will begin with Rima ma'am about KKR's thumping win. Rima ma'am.
कमबैक विन कहेंगे इसको। मुंबई इंडियंस को पहले भी हराया था, जिसमें पैट कमिंस ने 50 किया था, फास्टेस्ट 50 किया था इनफैक्ट। और उसके बाद अब वापस मुंबई के अगेंस्ट ये अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस देखने को मिली, स्पेशली बॉलिंग डिपार्टमेंट जिस तरीके से। अब मुझे लगता है कि अभी तक ये थोड़े बेटर प्लेइंग 11 नजर आए। चेंजेस है जब मैंने स्टार्टिंग में देखा, बट इट मेक सेंस कि आपने पैट कमिंस को लेके आया, वरुण चक्रवर्ती को लेके आया, एंड टू बी ऑनेस्ट रहाणे को भी लेके आए। रहाणे के बाद वो स्ट्राइक रेट नहीं था, लेकिन एटलीस्ट वो आपको 20-25 रन दे रहे हैं, जो एरन फिंच स्टार्टिंग में ही अपनी विकेट दे रहे थे। सो उस सेंस में आप कहेंगे रहाणे भी एक ठीक ठाक चेंज है। सो बेटर प्लेइंग 11, बेटर अप्रोच, बेटर रिसोर्सेज जो यूज किया श्रेयस अय्यर ने, और जिस तरह से पैट कमिंस ने बॉल डाली, मुझे अभी तक समझ नहीं आया कि उनको क्यों बिठाया था। एक दो मैच खराब, यहाँ पे सबके जाएंगे। बहुत लंबा टूर्नामेंट है, ऑस्ट्रेलियन कैप्टन है वो, इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि वर्ल्ड कप में भी थे और वर्ल्ड के बेस्ट बॉलर भी हैं, और आप ही इज हैंडी विद द बैट, वो बता चुके हैं पिछली बार भी। सो आज भी उनके वो क्रूशियल 3 विकेट्स, सिर्फ 22 रन देखे। सो कहीं ना कहीं ये बताता है कि आपने अब थोड़ा बहुत बेटर किया, और अभी भी आप प्लेऑफ की रेस में कहीं ना कहीं शामिल हैं।
जी जी बिल्कुल। Joydeep sir, if you could just elaborate on this win, have KKR finally found their perfect 11?
No, I think this is a game between two teams, and I think skill-wise, I think KKR was a lot better. They started superbly with the bat. They threw it away at the end. We'll dissect it later, but like you said, this is a thumping win, and I think by and large, Mumbai season hasn't got off. Nishant and I were discussing why Pat Cummins was asking why Pat Cummins was dropped. Yeah, he gave runs in 2 games. Malinga has given runs in games before. Jasprit Bumrah has given runs before. When you're the number 1 bowler in the world, when you're your go-to bowler, you're going to give him the season. He is your number 1 player. And even if he gives you 2 matches, he gives you 50 or close to 50, there'll be 4 games where he'll give you 24 and take 3 wickets or 4 wickets and win you games. He can't win you games from the dugout. He can only win you games being in the 11. He did that today.
Thank you, sir. Nishant sir, I would come to you. I would request you to elaborate on KKR's win by highlighting the mindsets of Rohit Sharma and Shreyas Iyer respectively as they came on to play today's match.
I think as a captain, there was not much to differentiate between them. Like your captaincy is at display when you are using your bowlers, setting your fields. I think Rohit did very well, especially the way KKR had the power play. They had almost 48 runs in the first 5 overs, and after that, they pulled back things. And the way Jasprit Bumrah was used, and the way he marshaled his resources. At one time, it looked like that on this wicket, KKR would get around 200 runs, but they still managed to get it at 165. And Rohit said in the post-match presentation that they would have taken 165 on this wicket any day. But credit to Shreyas, the way he marshaled his resources to defend that total. And I think it started with the right team selection. If you are replacing Pat Cummins with someone, then that player who is coming in place of him should be better than him, or at least on par with him. If that player is not on par with him, that means that selection was not right. Look at, for example, Mumbai Indians. Ishan Kishan has not done as well as you had expected him to, but they don't drop him because they know that he is the player. He's the mainstay of their team. So I think both the sides, Mumbai a little bit more, KKR, I think are trying to find their core players. Every team in IPL or in a format like T20 have 5 or 6 core players, and around them they build their team. And more often than not, those players will have to raise their hands and deliver. And that is what has happened for KKR today. And again, it has not happened for Mumbai Indians. In the pre-match show, I discussed about the importance of the core players and how Mumbai Indians look at today. If Rohit Or Ishan got a brilliant 50, but his job was to finish the match. He didn't, and that was the difference.
That's a good point pointed out, sir. Devashish, sir, I would like to ask you, how would you explain Shreyas Iyer's captaincy and mindset when he saw that, uh, it's a 160 odd game? How do you think he might have motivated his bowlers to deliver, to restrict Mumbai Indians in such a manner?
Yeah, I presume that what Shreyas might have said to his ball, the team was to just go out there and give it your best, because KKR had lost today, then things would have been very tricky. They would have been knocked out. But having said that, I think it was Mumbai's match to lose tonight, because 165, as Rishan said, as Rohit Sharma did say in the post-match press conference, is that. Eh, you could feel for this team, because one day, on a day they batted well, the bowlers let them down, and on a given day the bowlers performed. Say for example tonight, what a performance by Jasprit Bumrah, pulling things back for Mumbai, and then the batters, they gave it away. So it sums up Mumbai Indians performance throughout the season. But having said that, KKR, I think it is just that oxygen that they needed, with perhaps the right combination, as everyone shared. Someone like a Pat Cummins, you should stick on with him, because he's a world class bowler. Venkatesh Iyer again, he was dropped after a few matches because he was not doing well. Then I think it was Iyer who played the first salvo, because with that initial burst in the power play, I think lot many positives for KKR going forward.
That's a very important point, and as you rightly pointed out, a year's cameo. I like. I mean, request you to elaborate. KKR's opening pair, perhaps for the first time, clicked because KKR's opening pair, for the first time, in the power play, they by five overs they were 48 for no loss. Do you feel that this is the right combination? The opening pair is correct this time for Kolkata Knight Riders, and they should head into the remainder of their matches with this pair without experimenting any further. Devashish, sir.
Oh, uh, I would still feel Ajinkya Rahane. I still have my reservations with Rahane, but he because as you rightly said, that KKR were 64 for 1 in the power play, so that in itself was the best score in the season, in this season. And KKR has tried as many as 5 opening pairs, and finally they resorted to opening the innings with Rahane and Venkatesh Iyer. What one good thing about Rahane is that um, he enjoys playing the fast ball, the ball that comes onto the bat. So uh, his defense is good, but then when it comes to playing those aerial shots or improvising, I think that therein lies his weakness. But having said that, you have someone like Venkatesh Iyer at the opposite end, who can play the long handle, play those improvised shots, and that was what was the case today. He was batting with a lot of positive intent, which was missing somewhat, and that might have happened due to that lack of confidence showed on him by the KKR team management, because he was, when you have your confidence down, you need the backing of the captain and the coach. I think that was what has happened, because he actually, it was he who started the way for KKR. And I would still feel that perhaps maybe they could have tried Venkatesh Iyer with someone else at the top.
Jaideep sir, I'll come to you. Time and again, you have emphasized about KKR messing up at the auctions. There was one player I'd like to talk about. I would request you to talk about him, Nitish Rana. His purchase by KKR raised a lot of eyebrows. People were like, how can you possibly have him, provided his outing in the previous second half of the previous edition of the IPL last year? But I presume in this edition of the IPL, it is Nitish Rana who is, consistently going on with his performances with the bat for KKR. Your views?
No, Nitish Rana has actually done well for KKR in the past as well. Human memory is quite short, so one half of a tournament doesn't. He's done really well. I think they've messed with his batting order a lot. He's batted at 3, 4, 5, 6 everywhere. He's opened also, so I think that hasn't helped him. When you have a full team, we talk about Mumbai when they were really good. Their 7 players had played for India in the last 6 months. That was the Mumbai team that we know. Okay, I know we're talking about KKR, but just to talk about Mumbai, number 3, Tilak Verma, number 4, Ramandeep, number 5, Tim David, has never happened in the history of Mumbai Indians cricket.
Hmm.
These 3, 4, 5 have been stalwarts of world cricket that have batted. Tim
Absolutely.
David, with all due respect to him, is not a stalwart of world cricket. Back in the day, it used to be these big guys batting. Surya Kumar Yadav, who's as big a player in Mumbai Indians as any, and of course him missing out. But going back to KKR, I thought they missed a trick. I think when they bowled, when they were batted, sorry, they hurried up on their 18th over from Jasprit Bumrah. They could have played him out. Sheldon started it, and then Pat Cummins perished, and then Sunil Narayan. But all I'm saying is that over, they could have played 7 runs, 8 runs, and over, and then gone after Sams in the next over because they would have probably got another 15, 18 runs more. Ultimately, it was enough, but. Today I was really impressed with Shreyas Iyer's captaincy. The moment Tim David got those boundaries, got Varun Chakravarthy back in the bowling. He's a mystery bowler. He hasn't played him before, and he succumbed. It's really good to see.
दैट्स गुड। रीमा मैम, आपके पास आऊंगी। मुंबई इंडियंस के वो इकलौते बॉलर, अभी उन्हीं के बारे में चर्चा हो रही है, जसप्रीत बुमराह। आज जसप्रीत बुमराह अपने फॉर्म में दिखे जिसके लिए वो जाने जाते हैं। केकेआर के बैट्समैन 17th ओवर तक लग रहा था कि 200 तो पार करेंगे ही, फिर 18वें ओवर में आते हैं जसप्रीत बुमराह। एक ओवर में पैट कमिंस, नारायण, जैक्सन को अचानक से केकेआर की बैटिंग पूरी तरह से धराशायी हो जाती है। आप कहना चाहेंगे इसके बारे में कुछ?
देखिए, मेरा शुरू से मानना है क्लास इज़ परमानेंट एंड फॉर्म इज़ टेम्परेरी, इसलिए मैं कहती हूँ विराट कोहली के रन्स आएँगे। बुमराह ने भी अच्छे स्पेल्स डाले, जैसे कि जयदीप हमेशा बोलते हैं कि सामने से सपोर्ट तक मिलेगा तब थोड़ा-सा विकेट्स का कॉलम भर सकता है। तो बॉलिंग इन पार्टनरशिप भी इम्पोर्टेंट थी, आज वो थोड़ी बहुत नज़र आई। लेकिन वो जो स्पेल रहा जसप्रीत बुमराह का, देखिए वो क्लास थी। पेस विद स्किल्स आप कहेंगे, हम पेस देखते हैं लेकिन उसका स्किल अगर साथ में लगती है ना, तो आप इकोनॉमिकल भी होते हैं। वो 3 विकेट जो लिए थे ना उन्होंने 18th ओवर में, उसमें साथ में वो मेडन ओवर भी था, यानी कि कोई रन्स नहीं दिया, कोई प्रेशर नहीं बनने दिया मुंबई इंडियंस पे, और मुंबई
बिल्कुल।
इंडियंस को वापस गेम में बनाया। सो कहीं न
जी,
कहीं वो मैजिकल स्पेल के लिए जाने जाते हैं। इस बार वो बॉलिंग अटैक साथ में मलिंगा नहीं खेलते थे, ट्रेंट बोल्ट नहीं थे, राहुल चहर नहीं थे, पांड्या ब्रदर्स
जी,
नहीं थे। सो लोन वॉरियर बन गए थे वो बॉलिंग लाइनअप में, लेकिन अब थोड़ा सैम भी अच्छी बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं, सो दूसरे बॉलर से भी आज सपोर्ट मिला। मुझे लगता है स्किल अगर आपके पास है, क्लास आपके पास है, तो ये परफॉर्मेंस ज़्यादा दूर नहीं। और जसप्रीत बुमराह के पास वो मैजिकल यॉर्कर्स हैं, वो लेंथ बॉल अच्छे से हिट करते हैं, वो बाउंसर अच्छे से उन्होंने आज मारे, तो कहीं न कहीं आज वापस वो बुमराह देखने को मिले।
जी बिल्कुल। और फाइफर तो उन्हें मिल ही गया। वो एक ओवर मतलब देख के लग रहा था पूरा उन्होंने अपनी जान दी थी उस एक ओवर में।
बिल्कुल, देखिए चाहे
बहुत ही
मुंबई
दिस
इंडियंस
इज़ द
हारा है,
मोमेंट। जी,
लेकिन उनको मैन ऑफ द मैच
जी,
मिला है, बनता भी है। उमरान मलिक को भी मिला था उस फाइफर के लिए, क्योंकि ऐसे
जी।
स्पेल आपको रोज़-रोज़ नहीं मिलेंगे देखने के लिए।
जी, जी, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल। Nishant sir, I'll come to you. Time and again, KKR's batting has been highlighted as their weak link. Entire emphasis is always put on their bowling. It is always expected that KKR, whenever they go on to play a match, their bowling has to be very good. Why? Because their batting is not good, which we got to see a little today as well. They were going very good, put into bat first. They were literally confirmed they would cross 200, then that over. But excluding that one over, because I'll tell you, in that 18th over, after that, in 30 deliveries, KKR just managed 29 runs. You can't do that when it's towards the end of your innings. So, according to you, what do you feel KKR every time goes wrong with their batting? Where do they go wrong with their batting? Or why can't they hold on to their momentum?
No, I think it's a very, very critical part of the game where, and they have been missing that link. The guy who finishes the game for them or finishes the innings for them. That used to be done by Andrew Russell to a great extent, but we have not seen the Andrew Russell, the kind of Andrew Russell, uh, the kind of reputation he has. And somehow someone else has not picked up. that role. And if we have to live up to Joydeep's dream of KKR qualifying, then that area has to be, addressed and settled. Look at
Yes,
Mumbai today.
absolutely.
Like I will give you another example, like to create a parallel analogy. If there was a game where Mumbai would have missed someone like Surya Kumar, that was the game. Like it happened today that he was not playing that game. They needed someone. Ishan Kishan got 50, and then you see 15, 13, 12. That's where Surya Kumar would have come and finished the game. This chase was not very difficult. This chase was made difficult. Uh, in this tournament, there are teams they have gone and played very well, and there are teams when the two teams are playing, you feel, oh, though both these teams are playing, which one will play badly, and the one that plays more badly will end up winning the game. So there have been some reverse kind of games. So if you look at today, it's not that KKR has won the game. You also have to look at it that Mumbai, at one point it looked
Exactly.
like that they will chase it very, very confidently, very comfortably. Likewise, the way KKR had set up their platform to get 200 runs, and suddenly it was 165 against a team in form, whether it is Lucknow, whether it is Gujarat Titans. This 165 will be chased, and then there will be that usual quote, post-match quote, that we were 20 runs short. How often do we see captains using that quote? But that is so important and so critical. And I think somewhere KKR have to understand that they not only have to start well but end well as well. And
Exactly.
that is what is not
Absolutely.
happening today. They started well but they didn't end well.
Somewhere in the middle, they just lost the momentum.
Yeah.
Devashi sir, I'll come to you with Mumbai Indians' batting. Right from the starting, that let's, if we just keep aside Rohit Sharma's controversial dismissal, even after that, if we even also keep aside Mumbai Indians losing their wickets at regular intervals, at any point of time, they weren't looking into the game. They weren't looking as if they had, come to chase, because the multiple dots they were playing, the singles. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I would credit. We have to give credit to KKR's bowling, without a doubt. The bowlers were outstanding today. Be it Varun Chakravarthy or be it Andrew Russell, Pat Cummins, Andrew Russell. They played their role to perfection, to put it rightly. But then, having said that, as you have rightly said, the controversial dismissal of Rohit Sharma, that was not out to me, because the Sneeko clearly showed that there was another draft. So I think that was somewhat controversial. And when you have technology, and how can the third umpire give that out? It's beyond imagination. But then, had Rohit stayed there in the middle, things would have been different. But then that's the first jolt, I would say, because chasing 165, you need a solid batter like Rohit to stay on in the middle, which was not the case. And I think the but you should also give credit to KKR, the bowlers particularly.
Absolutely. और इसी बात पे रीमा मैम पे आने से पहले जॉयदीप सर, कैन वी हैव अ प्रिटी स्माइल ऑन योर फेस? KKR has
Of
won.
course,
You look tired.
मैं डांस
You
ही
look
always,
देख
so
रही हूँ।
always.
tired. Yeah, your dance is due.
My
मेरे को
dance
लग
is
रहा है
due.
थोड़ी
My
एक्साइटमेंट डालो। नहीं नहीं जयदीप, कुछ नहीं,
हाँ
कोई इफ नहीं
हाँ
कोई बट
हाँ।
नहीं,
अभी के
ओनली डांस।
शांत
आपका
in
डांस ड्यू है।
fifth,
मैं पहले रीमा मैम पे
जिसका
आऊंगी।
डांस
जी जी।
जिसका डांस ड्यू है उससे आप बात नहीं कर रहे हो। देवाशीष सेन बोला था विराट कोहली रन करने से डांस करूंगा, 5 मैच हो गया, डांस आया नहीं। और जिस
अरे
दिन केकेआर क्वालिफाई
सबका ड्यू
करेगा
तब
तो
से
है।
डांस
विराट रन नहीं बना रहे।
देवेशीष के
वो
बाद तो
एक
जयदीप की बारी आ गई।
रन बना नहीं रहा
या
है ना।
बट वो 150 था ना, उसीलिए रन नहीं बना रहा है, बिकॉज आपने डांस नहीं किया। आप डांस
इसे
बना, हर मैच में रन बनाएगा।
इसे कहते हैं इस वक्त जोयदा पता है क्या कर रहे हैं? जोयदा सिंगल लेके दूसरे एंड पे जा रहे हैं। उसके डांस
निशाद
की
आई
बारी
हैड
थी, सिंगल
निशाद
लेके देवुदा की
निशाद
तरफ
आई
डाल
हैड
दिया।
Nishad, you just joined up today. My deal was if KKR qualify, I will dance and I stick by that. But Debashish said, जिस दिन विराट कोहली 50 बनाएगा उस दिन मैं नाचूंगा. And since he hasn't danced, Virat has stopped scoring.
ये आरसीबी ने
That's not.
सुन लिया ना देवेशीष, आपके लिए अच्छा नहीं होगा।
नहीं, क्या पता अच्छा भी हो, इसको बुला के पैसे देके डांस करवा दें।
Ah, exactly. नाच देबा
ये
नाच,
ये सोर्स ऑफ फंडिंग तो हमने सोच ही ली थी देवशीष।
नाच देबा नाच.
चलिए रीमा मैम, अब आप पे आते हैं। केकेआर
आइए
की
आइए।
बॉलिंग पे आप थोड़ा सा और एलाबोरेट अगर कर देंगी हमारे लिए। पैट कमिंस को आखिरकार उन्हें लाया गया और वो खड़े उतरे। जसप्रीत बुमराह को देख के लग रहा था, मतलब बॉलिंग में शायद उन्होंने सबको एक्लिप्स करके रख दिया था, इतनी धुआंधार उन्होंने बॉलिंग की थी। फिर आते हैं पैट कमिंस। पैट कमिंस डालते हैं 15th ओवर, वहां पे 3 विकेट चटका लेते हैं और अचानक से गेम चेंजिंग मोमेंट हो जाता है। वो पूरा मैच पूरी तरह से केकेआर की तरफ हो जाता है, तख्ता पलट हो जाता है। आप इस बारे में क्या कहेंगी?
देखिए, वो वर्ल्ड नंबर 1 बॉलर क्यों हैं? वो इसीलिए हैं कि वो कभी भी गेम चेंज कर सकते हैं। 1-2 मैचेस के बाद आपने उनको, मतलब उनके जो रन्स लीक हुए, फिर आपने खिलाया नहीं। इतने टाइम तक आपने उस बॉलर को दूर रखा और यही रीज़न बना था कई टीम्स का कि आप अपने बिग मैच प्लेयर को आपने बाहर बिठाए रखा है। 1 या 2 मैच तो हर प्लेयर के खिलाफ जाने वाले हैं। 14 मैचेस किसी भी प्लेयर के अच्छे नहीं जाएँगे, चाहे वो बॉलर हो, चाहे वो बैटर हो। लेकिन आज पैट कमिंस के साथ अगर बाकी बॉलर्स को भी देखेंगे ना, टिम साउदी ने अच्छी बॉल डाली, रसल ने अच्छी बॉल डाली, वरुण ने अच्छी बॉल डाली, नारायण ने अच्छी बॉल डाली। यानी कि बॉलिंग डिपार्टमेंट एज़ अ यूनिट क्लिक किया है। सो उसमें भी बहुत
बिल्कुल।
फ़र्क पड़ता है। मैं ये नहीं कहूँगी अकेले आउटस्टैंडिंग परफ़ॉर्मेंस तो रही है कमिंस की, लेकिन स्टार वो इसलिए रहे क्योंकि आस-पास के जो बॉलर्स हैं ना, उन्होंने कंट्रीब्यूट किया और यहीं पे
जी।
एक स्टार निकलता है जब साथ में कंट्रीब्यूशन आता है। बुमराह की बॉलिंग देखेंगे, बॉलिंग अच्छी हुई बाकी बॉलर्स की, बुमराह ने एक आउटस्टैंडिंग स्पेल किया। यहाँ पे भी आपने एक एंड से प्रेशर लिया, दूसरे एंड से विकेट निकला और जब रन्स और बॉल्स के बीच में गैप बढ़ गया था, उस टाइम पे आपको शॉट्स खेलनी थी और वहाँ पे वो 15th ओवर पैट कमिंस का आया और उनका एक्सपीरियंस आया। एक्सपीरियंस ऐसी चीज़ है ना जो बाज़ार में नहीं मिल सकती, वो खेल-खेल के मिलती है और इस
बिल्कुल।
खिलाड़ी के पास बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है। इसको दूर रखा, टिम डेविड को मुंबई ने दूर रखा, कॉनवे को सीएसके ने दूर रखा, सब भुगत रहे हैं।
सबको दूर दूर रखा, फिर याद आया पास पास लाना है, अब जब ला रहे हैं तब हाथ से मौका जा चुका है। लेकिन हाँ,
लेकिन अभी
बिल्कुल
भी
ये
जान
बहुत ही
बाकी है केकेआर में। अच्छी बात ये है कि प्लेऑफ
हाँ
में अभी भी
बिल्कुल।
रेस में वो शामिल हैं, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट
जी
Yeah,
चीज़ है।
just
जी
on that,
जी।
you know what Rimaji says. For me, Mumbai was
यस
never in the game. If you see them,
हुँ,
यस सर।
they were 2 for 1, 32 for 2
या
in 5 overs, 69 for 3 in 10 overs, 83 for 4 in
यस
13 overs. So you're
13
never in the
ओवर्स।
game. You need somebody. Aaj Pat Cummins ko mila. This could have been Narayan. This could have been
हुँ,
Varun. Because you are
एनीबडी।
behind the game. You are behind the game. You're well behind the game, and you don't have the firepower. Like Nishan said, Surya is one guy who could have won them this game, but he's not
एब्सोल्युटली।
here. And it's too much on Ramandeep and Tilak Verma playing for the first time to do it. Karen Pollard is not the player he was. He's not in form. You know, he's understood something. That's why he's retired from international cricket in the middle of IPL. So he's figured something is missing in his game. He's hit him. So they were, for me, they were never in the game. Ishan Kishan got 51 or 45. What would he do? Wickets falling at every other end. He couldn't
हुँ,
go full pelt. He's not in the form of his life. So for me, Mumbai were never in the game. If they won this game, somebody had to come and play a blinder. Karen Pollard comes and gets a, last 17 ball 42, which he's capable of.
हुँ,
That happened for him
यस।
today. But it's not a game that Mumbai had from the beginning. They were behind in the game. They couldn't catch up.
And that's a very important point, and I would like, yes sir, Nishant sir.
I was saying that there's a old age saying in cricket, and which is like if you keep taking wickets at the regular intervals, that's the best way to stop runs, and that is where
Exactly.
KKR was so good today. They kept taking wickets at regular intervals, as Joyda rightly mentioned. That 2 for 1, 32 for 2. That means that you are always, as a batter, you're always in that mindset where you have to reset the innings. You have to reset the innings. And in that process of resetting the innings, you lose those 5, 6 balls. A new batsman comes, he will have to get his eye in, he have to play 2, 3 balls extra. And then by the 10th, 12th over, what happens is that you get into that catch up mode where you see, okay, now I have to hit out or I have to get out. And then you
That's
keep
Absolutely.
exactly
losing
what happened
wickets.
today. What
Yeah.
he's saying, 86 for 4 in 12 overs. ना रन बना, विकेट भी गया.
Hmm.
8 ओवर में आपको चाहिए 80 रन.
पैनिक
Okay?
बटन दब चुका था तब तक।
Yeah, so 8 ओवर में 80 रन with two batters batting on 2 and 1. एक 40 पे बैटिंग नहीं कर रहा है. That's exactly the point Nishant is making.
And that is where
And
experience
yes
plays
sir.
such an important role. Like you need someone like Rohit, someone like Ishan, someone like Surya, someone like Pollard to do that job. You cannot expect the young kids like Tilak to do that. They will take time. I think this season for Mumbai Indians, I think it's done and dusted. They have to go back to the drawing board. figure out new strategies. I am sure they will bounce back. They will have to find the new Kunal Pandyas, new Hardik Pandyas, all these people who used to be the nucleus of this side. This was always a side which used to rely on 4 or 5 players, and they used to raise their hands at crucial junctures to win matches for them. That has completely not happened this year, and that is why they are struggling.
Yes. Yes,
So
absolutely.
they're a very
Uh,
very different side from Gujarat. Like Gujarat, you see every game there is a new hero. Like one
yes.
match will be won by Rashid, one will be Shubman Gill, one will be by someone else. But that has not happened for Mumbai. If Mumbai has to win, it has to be Rohit, it has to be Ishan, it has to be Bumrah, it has to be Pollard, and that
Too
has
much
not happened.
reliance on individuals. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And Joydeep sir, we finally got to see Varun Chakravarthy into the squad, and he was phenomenal once again. He looked
Yeah,
really good, absolutely in form. But would you say it's too late? But well, in an important match, he was brought in. He lived up to the expectation. Your opinions?
Yeah, I think I was a little surprised when he was dropped because now we are seeing the wickets are aiding spinners. If we see the
Yeah.
last week or so, it's the spinners. Not only are they taking wickets, they're also keeping the runs down. They're bowling more in the power play. You know, Glenn Maxwell is starting the bowling. That usually doesn't happen when it's seaming wickets. So we can see the tempo, the template of the IPL changing with regard to the wickets. So I was a little surprised, and also he's a guy who, if you haven't played a mystery spinner before, it's impossible to play him no matter how much videos you watch of him. That's the reason why Sunil Narayan even now holds his own. He's been playing for about 10, 12 years, but he's still a mystery bowler. And so Varun, I think the way they used him today to the newer players, Tim David and everybody else, you could make out that I think Shreyas Iyer was superb on the field today as captain.
Hmm.
And the commentators were talking
Absolutely.
about and the
Hmm.
commentators today were talking about a Benson and Hedges final in 1984, where the skipper of Lancashire scored zero and didn't bowl and got the man of the match because of his captaincy. Today was pretty close to that. I think it was really good
Oh.
because when you use your bowlers,
That's an interesting fact.
I heard Gramps once say it, and then I googled it, and 1984 Benson Hedges final, Lancashire versus Warwickshire. You know, this guy got a third ball duck, didn't bowl a ball, and got the man of the match from Peter May, who is one of the legends. So this goes to show, because today, when you use your mystery bowlers is also very important, and they're mystery bowlers for a reason. So Sunil Narayan would never bowl to international cricketers in the nets of KKR because he wouldn't bowl to McCullum, he wouldn't bowl to Callis because he knew when West Indies play New Zealand or South Africa, they might come. But he would bowl to the domestic players. So he'll bowl to Rajat Bhatia, he'll bowl to Lakshminathan Shukla, he'll bowl to Manoj Tiwari, because these guys he will more often than not face in international cricket. So you have to also hide your mystery in a way. So today he unleashed them. Tim David, I thought, hurried up. He could have waited. He could have taken on the other bowlers, but it took him on and he perished. So that was a great piece of captaincy over there because Tim David is one guy who could have swung this game.
Yes, absolutely. And Devashi sir, now I'll come to you. KKR's next match is with SRH. So with this thumping win and with this healthy, mindset they have finally like managed to regain, how would had you been a part of KKR? I would ask this question to Joydeep sir as well. What do you think? With what mindset should KKR now play their remainder of the matches? Taking the positives from this game as well, how should they approach their remainder of the matches since they have finally managed to revive their playoff chances?
Yes, it's very simple. You keep it very simple. Just go out there and give it your best shot, because uh, they have to win all matches. That's it, to make it to the playoffs. Because
And other results have to go their way.
other
Just
results have
not
to
them
go their way,
alone.
because there are as many as 4 teams who are on 10 points. So
Yes.
any slip up, KKR for bye for this season. So all they have to do is to go out there and give it their best.
KKR के
ज्यादा
फैन बोल
कुछ
रहे हैं
सोचने जाएगा तो गोलमाल हो जाएगा.
आज
To
मुंबई
put
को
in a
बैक किए थे
simple way.
वैसे, रीमा जी.
And
आज
क्या
पैसा
क्या
Devashi
आज
sir,
यार
पैसा
ये कैसे
आज
फैन है
आज पैसा मुंबई पे लगाए थे.
केकेआर के गलियों में भी मत जाना
Devashi
क्या
sir,
है ना
come on, you have actually supported MI just because of form.
No,
Is
no,
this
no,
your
no,
loyalty
no,
for
no, no, no,
KKR?
no, no. He said my heart is with KKR, my money is with Mumbai.
ये
No,
ये
loyalty
Debashish,
means heart, money, mind, everything has to be with KKR.
हार्ट
No,
मनी
that
Kabaddi
माइंड
can't
that
just sit on the boat.
वो इधर है,
that
वो सीएसके के लिए इधर है सिर्फ, वो सिर्फ एक ही है इस पैनल में, सिर्फ एक है। मैं
देवाशीष घर
इधर
से
और
मत
उधर
निकलना
वेदा
एक
आरसीबी
हफ्ता।
के लिए।
देवाशीष
बिल्कुल
घर से
नहीं।
मत निकलना एक हफ्ता। हाँ।
Chalo, thank God. I am a cricket fan. I am neutral. May the best team win.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
अरे
very
और
diplomatic. That's very
निशांत तो होगा
sensible.
न्यूट्रल. निशांत is sitting in
Nishan,
Canada.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's the
am.
reason.
I am sitting in the most friendly country of the world. We are friend of everyone. Canada is
Yeah,
friend to everyone.
Extremely
Nishant can
diplomatic
come.
but
relations with
सारे फ्रेंड्स में
everyone.
निशांत कोई विनर नहीं बन सकता ना, यहाँ विनर निकालना है, यहाँ
Nishant
रोज एक
back
विनर
Mumbai.
निकालना है।
Nishant back Mumbai. That's okay. But Nishant is in Canada. He can come out of the house. Devashi, you stick around. You stay at home.
Yeah.
Devashish sir, KKR loyalty. Come on, we have to maintain it. Okay, so this was match number 56, KKR versus MI. KKR thumping Mumbai Indians by a whopping 52 runs and keeping their playoffs race still alive, though a little bit very minute, but let's see what happens. Now there's a big game coming up tomorrow. Match number 57, Lucknow Super Giants versus the Gujarat Titans.
Wow,
A clash
1 versus
between the
2.
table toppers taking each other. Let's prediction time. Devashish sir, we'll start with you.
I would go with Gujarat Titans.
Gujarat Titans.
टी शर्ट पहन के आना, क्योंकि फर्स्ट हाफ में वो उतरेगी,
हाँ
LG
गुजरात का टी
LSG
शर्ट
है
है ना,
सामने।
या राइट कल फ्री शो में वही था टी शर्ट।
Last time पहने थे.
Nishant,
फ्री
Last time पहने थे. Halfway through the game ही खोल लिए. इतना खराब खेला. मत
प्री
पहनिए.
शो के लिए
पूरा-
आपको मेंशन
पूरा-
करो कि प्री शो
पूरा
के लिए
गुजरात बोल
गुजरात
रहा है,
प्री
टाइटंस।
पूरा
शो मैंने बोला ना, प्री शो के लिए।
देखो
पूरा
आपको
गुजरात
गुजरात
बोल
में
रहा है,
नहीं
मत
निकलना,
पहनिए,
आपको
मत
केकेआर
पहनिए,
में नहीं
मत
निकलना,
पहनिए।
आपको मुंबई में नहीं निकलना है, 3 जगह बिल्कुल नहीं निकलना।
okay, Nishant sir, your prediction.
My because I still not have been able to find any kind of club attachment or a franchisee attachment so far in IPL. So I go with my favorite player. Shubman Gill is my favorite player. I really like that
What a
kid.
player.
I
He's
really
a
like that
brilliant
kid, and I
player.
have seen him from the age of 13. He comes from
Okay.
Chandigarh, my hometown. So
Okay.
always Gujarat Titans.
Very good. Rima ma'am.
आबादे
देखिए ये जो
बताइए।
मैच है ना, ये बेस्ट वर्सेस बेस्ट, थोड़ा टफ है, टेबल टॉपर्स हैं दोनों, लेकिन मैं फिर भी एलएसजी के साथ जाऊंगी, क्योंकि वो मास्टरमाइंड है ना, वो गेम चलाता है, तो कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है केएल राहुल की फॉर्म और आवेश खान वहां पे है, गौतम गंभीर वो मास्टरमाइंड वहां पे है,
जी जी
सामने
जी
सामने अच्छी टीम है गुजरात टाइटंस। मैंने हमेशा
गुजरात
उनको बैक
टाइटंस
किया है, उनका बॉलिंग अटैक बैक किया, लेकिन बैटिंग अगर एलएसजी सक्सेसफुल हो जाती है विकेट्स लेने में जल्दी और अच्छे टोटल में रुक जाती है, तो इस टीम को रोकना थोड़ा आसान हो जाएगा, तो मैं जाऊंगी एलएसजी के साथ।
अच्छा, and finally Joydeep sir.
I think it's a really even game. I'm just picking a team just because you asked me to, but I'm going with Lucknow. But I think this is anybody's game. So two top teams, two teams really
Yeah.
playing well. Congo teams, whoever plays well, whoever plays better on the day, that's impossible for any of us to say now. But just to pick a team, just to answer your question, I'm going with Lucknow.
But
Devashish, yes, sir.
look at the beauty of this IPL. Like, would we have imagined like 45 days we will be saying that two table toppers would be Gujarat Titans and Lucknow Super Giants,
Yeah.
and the teams that will be going on the drawing board would be CSK and Mumbai Indians. Like,
The
this has
champion
been the
teams
story
of
of
the
this
IPL.
tournament. This has been the story of this tournament. And Gujarat Titans, jab someone like in cricket circles, when it was told that Ashish Nehra will be the coach and Hardik Pandya will be the captain, sabne ka oh tere ki khatam kaam. Now
But
look at
Nishant,
them.
we did the auction. Some of us in this panel were also there, and we said that Mumbai and CSK were in trouble because we are used to seeing a very strong CSK and Mumbai team. As I was saying, Mumbai last year played with 7 guys who had played for India in the last 6 months. White ball cricket for India. So you talk about Rohit, Ishan, Krunal, Hardik, Bumrah, there are a couple of others. So they had all played for India. Okay, Rahul Chahar. So that's 6 right there. And there's one more. So, but when they came out of the auction and when we were doing the post-auction chat, we were saying that CSK and Mumbai are looking considerably weak compared to what they have always been.
Point taken,
Okay,
sir.
so it's
Yeah, I was
yes,
just
sir, Devashish
making
sir.
the point I was trying to make is that Gujarat Titans I reckon will have a better chance. The sheer fact is they have lost 2 matches. For a team who wants to do well, means that must have hurt their ego, because 2 consecutive losses, so they have a lot to prove. Means, and also you cannot afford to lose 3 matches in a row and then you go into the playoffs, because both the teams would try would be eyeing to make it to the 1 and 2 spot. So that's a bit of a motivation for Gujarat Titans, having lost the last couple of matches. So they must be trying hard to make a point there.
Okay, so beam is balanced. It's 2-2, two Gujarat Titans and two Lucknow Super Giants. It'll be a cracker of a game tomorrow when we meet at 7 p.m. sharp. It'll be match number 57. Table toppers Lucknow Super Giants and Gujarat Titans taking on each other. And tonight it was again match number 56. KKR winning it beautifully against Mumbai Indians. Let's meet tomorrow. Until then, good night, take care, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank
Good
you.
Thank
night.
you. Good night.